It's Flo, and this is my impression of a drill instructor directing a musical. 10 hot! Get those tap heels in line and let me see those jazz hands! Are you bundling your home and auto insurance through Progressive? Can you hear me through those sequins?
Bundle your home and auto through Progressive and save.
Left, 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 and step ball change.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Home insurance provided and serviced by other select insurers.
This is the Happy Hour Network.
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
Yo, what up, DT? Let's get to it. Hit him with the hook first. Full court press, 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 full court press. NBA talk all night on the press. Full court press, 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 full court press. NBA talk all night on the press. Welcome to the show. We done seen folks move from the west to the east coast. Tired of the city, so they head to the beach shore. While the rest of the colleagues request to proceed forward. Player movement always lead to improvement, but that's what's hot now. Boom pow, another star gone. Yeah, he long gone. We need more leaders like Caesar. Stay focused on the prize. Legends don't die, even if they're long gone in the sky. Performance and the boundary line, and you're good to go. See your man, don't be out there just playing for show. Cause we'll be in the barbershop talking all week. Topic to topic, the media don't sleep. Put that S on your chest, pick up the phone, and make sure that you're calling to the full court press. Yeah, full court press.
We are live here for Full Court Press Radio here for a Thursday night. I'm your host, Thompson, checking with you tonight live here for the next 1 hour, talking everything NBA hoops. And it's been a crazy day in the NBA. 347-857-1947. We're talking with some of the best writers, beat writers, and bloggers from all across the country, as well as personalities as well, too. And so tonight, riding shotgun with me tonight is one of the writers for NBAFCPRadio.com, our good friend, Ethan Stern. Ethan, what's going on, my man?
I'm doing all right, Danny. How are you?
You know, it's been a crazy day in the NBA, and being in Orlando, it was just interesting because about 9:30, 9:45, maybe 10 o'clock this morning, I'm at work, and I get a tweet from Josh Robbins, shout out to our good friend Josh Robbins of the Orlando Sentinel, saying that Scott Skiles has basically stepped down as head coach of the Orlando Magic. And as soon as that happened, the floodgates on my phone just completely goes open, Ethan. And really, it's been a very interesting day and a very interesting take of what's going on in Orlando. But before I go deeper into it, Ethan, when you came across your time as Scott Skiles had stepped away from the Magic coaching job, what were you thinking?
I thought it was really odd timing. I thought he did an okay job in Orlando. I mean, it seemed they had the Tobias Harris trade was really weird, I thought. But I don't know if that was management or if that was him asking for a different point guard. It was pretty clear he didn't like Alfred Payton. Maybe he wanted Brandon Jennings, who he had before. But I thought it was weird timing. Most of the coaching vacancies have been filled.
Yeah, you look at it right now in the last week or so, we've had 3 head coaches about the last 10 days or so that stepped down basically in situations they could have stepped out a long time ago. In Dave George's case out in Memphis, Dave George could have been let go right as the Grizzlies season had ended. You know, right when they got eliminated, Georgia could have let go then. Frank Vogel, same way. Vogel was gone, a couple of days after the season started, and Skiles decides to wait till mid-May to give up the coaching job when the Magic were eliminated back in mid-April. So, Orlando in this case has missed out on pretty much every head coach right now, with the exception of Vogel, because everybody's been hired. Now, unless you're going to go David Blatt in Orlando or Vogel, I mean, really, Ethan, what's left on the market? Do you see anything of value left on the market for Orlando?
Vogel's the big option that everybody's going to want. I feel like he'd probably go to Memphis before he goes to Orlando. There's a bit more consistency there, a bit more recent success. They've got some good players who are under contract for a while. I think that's probably a safer job if you're Frank Vogel, but it's the Orlando job is going to be higher variance, but you could probably have a lot more success there.
Well, you look at the jobs that are open right now, and before I go into the jobs right now, let me give you my take on what's going on in Orlando. And being out here on a regular basis, you see the Magic. I see the Magic on a consistent basis. Now, there are guys who are in the know or who at games more than I am, but this is what I observed over the last year plus. I mean, being in Orlando, it's basically Scott Skiles' organization and Rob Hennigan and the front office do not see eye to eye, especially, you mentioned correctly, Ethan, on the Elfrid Payton situation. That's one of the reasons why. You know, Scott wants a heady point guard that can do multiple things. And Elfrid Payton's main problem all year is the fact the jump shot hasn't been working. Now, you know, in Elfrid's case, he was hurt in training camp. You know, he was injured coming off the car wreck and was slow getting back to it. And the first half of the season, you did see, you know, Elfrid not being Elfrid. He rested over the All-Star break, played well in the rookie game, and then he kind of took off the second half of the season. The problem was the Magic were in a situation where they needed to win now. And just think about it, Ethan. Skiles was coach of the month in December. The Magic played their best basketball in December. They played a bunch of under 500 teams, but Skiles led them to coach of the month, and the Magic played their best basketball. Then January gets here, and they tank. Not on purpose, but they just start losing games they shouldn't have lost. Now, on the backside of things, Justin Termine of Sirius NBA Radio, he reported around lunchtime that this had been going on since January. Now, there were text messages exchanged between Scott Skiles and Rob Hennigan, according to sources, say that Skiles had wanted out of the job and had second thoughts about basically regretting taking the job. Hennigan, on the other hand, was not too pleased with hearing that comment because, let's be honest, most Magic fans did not want Scott Skiles here in the first place. For Scott Skiles, who had lobbied to Rich DeVos about taking this job, for him to back out literally 5 months later, Hennigan looks like a complete idiot. Because Hennigan backed this guy. This is my guy. I want him as head coach. 5 months later, he now wants out. Well, Hennigan tried to play it, sweep under the rug, and try to get this thing going. And Skiles had been a little discontent for a while. And then it came up again. This time it got in the hands of Alex Martins, who wanted to defuse the situation. And then once again, a last source was Adrian Griffin. So basically, now you have three people in the organization that know that Scott Skiles is thinking about not wanting to be here and thinking that this is the wrong job for him. Magic fans have known this from day one. Now, if I go into Magic 4 rooms, they're saying the Magic are screwed up, the Magic did this and that, Magic did that, which is funny because the Magic fans wanted him gone in the first place. So now that he's gone, they're mad that he decides to leave and think this Magic mess is a complete cluster right now. So you got an organization that, number one, I don't really think Scott Skiles wanted to draft Mario Hezonja in the first place. I really thought, in my opinion, it should have been Stanley Johnson. It should have been, maybe Willie Cauley-Stein. That would have led to this team not – there would have been Stanley Johnson, then there was the point of re-signing Tobias Harris, a guy that Scott Skiles didn't particularly care for when he was in Milwaukee. Now you got players in the roster that Skiles don't work with. Then they moved Harris for Brandon Jennings, and guess what? It is what it is. Brandon Jennings was not the same player after the injury. And now you're going to the point where they're going to the summer, and I don't think the Magic want to trade Elfrid Payton this summer. Now, my question for you, Ethan, is that if you are Rob Hennigan and you are Alex Martins and you are in the front office of the Magic, do you agree with them not trading Elfrid Payton, or do you see yourself going after another point guard, a la Mike Conley, maybe Jeff Teague if he's available, Dennis Schroeder if he's available, one of these point guards this summer? Do you agree with them not chasing a point guard and keeping Elfrid Payton, or do you go after a big point guard this summer? What are your thoughts?
I think Elfrid Payton he's fine. The Magic aren't really in a position to really demand that these high-profile free agents go there. There aren't really any free agents on the market this year. There's Mike Conley, who I don't know what's going on with him. The next best guy is Brandon Jennings, and after that it's Jeremy Lin and I don't know, maybe Ish Smith, but there really aren't any point guards. I mean, he's a good defender. He can pass the ball. Still can't shoot, but he's a good rebounder for his position. He's good enough for where the Magic are. They need to make the playoffs before they really make some key personnel decisions.
And that's a good point. And really, honestly, Rob Hennigan has 1 year left. Now, basically, in Rob Hennigan's tenure, Jacques Vaughn was a failure. Scott Skiles was a failure. Hennigan has to hit a home run everywhere between now and next summer. Otherwise, he's going to reach the same fate as Jacques Vaughn and now Scott Skiles, and he's going to be out the door. You're right. In this summer's free agent class, Mike Conley is the class at point guard. You got the problem in Atlanta between point guards, which one they're going to keep, which one they're going to trade. You got, there's not really much left on the market. I mean, maybe you could inquire about Ricky Rubio in Minnesota if they decide, to make Levine the point guard full time. But
that
you're
would be
right,
a terrible idea if they did that.
Well, Rubio is just he's a good defender. He still can't shoot. But I'm just looking at the point guards that could be out of the market. Maybe Brandon Knight in Phoenix could be available. I don't think they're going to trade Bledsoe, but I think Knight could be available in the right move. Orlando wants to chase that down. Or maybe you put a number at Jordan Clarkson this summer, who is a restricted free agent, and see if the Lakers are going to match it.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, are you going to
$12 million a year? Who knows?
Are you going to bark up the Rajon Rondo tree this summer if you're Orlando?
I don't trust Rondo for anything. It's the same thing with Ty Lawson. It's like, look, just get your act together for a year. Don't be such an enigma, and I'd consider it.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Lawson's also, you're right. Ty Lawson's on the market as well too. So really, there's nothing to write home about this summer. But, I mean, unless you're going to take a risk. Like you said, Rondo and Lawson are risk. I mean, Jordan Clarkson's on the market, but I don't think he's really a point guard. He's more of a two-guard that plays point guard. I mean, D'Angelo Russell handles the ball more than anything else, is a better playmaker. But if you look at the point guard position, that's it. I mean, yeah, the market's really bad for point guards this year. And unless Orlando wants to wait till 2017 when all the point guards are going to be in the market in 2017, Russell Westbrook, Stephen Curry, Derrick Rose, Dennis Schroeder, you have a multitude of point guards that could be on the market in 2017. I mean, the Magic could wait because I know where you're picking the draft at 11 or if you're in the lottery, I don't think you land a point guard that high. I don't think you're going to have a shot at Chris Dunn. Jamal Murray's more a two-guard and Buddy Hield's a two-guard. And, I don't know if Tyler Ulis is a good fit. I like Ulis, but I don't think he's a good fit at 11. But there's a lot to be said in Orlando, and maybe, who knows, maybe they package up a couple players and go get a point guard. I don't know. 347-857-1947 is the number to check in with me and Ethan tonight. We were talking about Frank Vogel and the Orlando Magic. Now, here's a question before we go to break, Ethan. If the Magic don't land Frank Vogel, who is your number one target? Outside, if you don't land Vogel or now David Blatt, I'm going to take the two best coaching options off the market. Let's say both of them say no to the City Beautiful here in Orlando. Who is the one coach you go after this summer if you're the Magic?
That is a great question, and I don't have an answer to it.
I look at the market and coaches. The only other coach I can see doing it and be decent at would be Ettore Messina, who is the assistant head coach for the San Antonio Spurs, but I really think he's waiting for Popovich to step down, and Ettore is in his late 60s, early 70s. So I don't know if he wants to take on a bunch of knuckleheads here in Orlando, a bunch of kids. And outside of that, you're going to have to overpay for somebody. If you're going to go find a lead assistant, that's great. I've heard the name Jason Collins. I've heard Patrick Ewing. I've even heard some people say Jeff Hornacek.
Jeff Hornacek
all I'm going to say is the Magic go from Scott Skiles to Jeff Hornacek. I think season ticket holders will jump over the bridge on I-4 onto oncoming traffic. I'm so serious. If this team somehow lands Jeff Hornacek, and you go from Jacques Vaughn to Scott Skiles to Jeff Hornacek, just think about that, Ethan. How bad is your life really? Because I don't think Mark Jackson's going to come here. I mean, unless you're going to go retread, but if they end up with Jeff Hornacek, it's just going to be bad. I mean, you said Hornacek wasn't that bad. Have you did not watch Phoenix before Hornacek got let go?
Well, that's not his fault. I mean, the general manager was fired, and all of his assistants were fired, and all of his players were fighting with each other. That wasn't Hornacek's fault. I thought they were really good last year, the year before this year.
Well, I'm not sold on it. And like I said, Orlando has a lot of rebuilding to do, and you're going to start seeing a lot of columns over starting next week. We are going to go deep into it, Ethan. So I'm going to break down every single NBA team as they're eliminated from the playoffs, and also starting with the non-playoff teams, talking about what they're going to do this summer. I'm going to involve cap space, draft picks, roster, coaching, and give an in-depth breakdown of every single team. So we're going to go 30 teams in 30 days leading up to the draft. So I know Ethan, I got my work cut out for me for the next 30 days, that's for sure. But 347-857-1947 is the number to check in with us tonight. We're going to go